Actually, this is a real high coast podcast because I heard from a little birdie that all three be getting high these days. I don't know how true that is, but I heard from a little birdie that everybody is a little
Indulging.
everybody's a little more in tune with the world, with the herbs.
Who told you that, buddy?
I didn't say listen. I literally was very specific with my wording. I heard from a little birdie that all three. So maybe
Who's the bird?
It was a
why would I
canary or something.
why would I tell you who my bird is?
Because they're lying. So
Okay.
maybe you need to check on your bird, buddy.
Okay, that's fine. So
Why would your bird lie to you, man?
I mean, hey, maybe my bird got bad intel. How about that?
Don't we don't reveal our sources.
Or your source is bad.
Okay, that's fine. Like, that's what you had to say. Journalism is dead, huh?
Journalism is dead, but speaking to that, I told myself the other day, maybe I should. I was thinking about trying some drugs here and there.
No, hold on.
a,
When you say
a
try,
little psychedelic. I'm thinking mushrooms might be in my future, man. I can't even lie. I can't even
ooh,
lie.
I like that. That's an episode for sure.
That's our bag.
Uh,
So yeah, come holler at me and Charles.
not, not my bag at all. But I'm not even gonna tell niggas how I got there. You don't need to do that.
No, you have to reveal. You can't just give up something like that. But we could be
Yeah,
here all day doing your illegal drug activity. So shout out to whoever's in the chat right now. Shout out to whoever that is. I love to see when the cats are in here early. Cats be coming in when the convo be kind of cooking up. You know, I like to see them here from the beginning. So today we're going to start across the pond, one of my favorite places in the world, London town, and we're going to start with the BAFTA. I don't know if you guys heard, but we had a racial slur incident take place at the. Why? See, you have to stop laughing like this before I even can start, bro. Like you don't even give me a chance to even get in before you start. So tell me why. Tell me why you laughing, bro. Tell me why you laughing, and then I will continue.
no,
We
just continue, bro. I thought.
we
Hey,
know why
listen,
he's laughing, bro. That's his
listen,
bag, bro. No Tourette
Tell us
though.
why.
No Tourette.
listen, man. I, the whole thing is just funny to me, bro. Like I literally told Cats the other day, like I was like, this is hilarious. This is well overall not hilarious, but it's all right, bro.
What do you mean? All right, bro. Don't all right, bro. Be
Please give us the backstory. You know me, I'll interject and tell you where I thought it was specifically funny. Go ahead, man. What happened? What happened at the BAFTA?
all right. So for you guys who don't know, BAFTA, British Academy of Film and Television Arts, they had their award ceremony this past last week, and technically it kind of finishes up the award season, Oscars, Grammys, Emmys, all that. We finished the award season with BAFTA across the pond. And the 2026 BAFTA had an incident take place when John Davidson, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I have never heard about John Davidson before this weekend. Um, he was at the awards, and while Michael P. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting an award, he yelled out the N word, the hard ER one, not with the A at the end. He yelled out the hard ER, and to be quite frank, everyone seemed taken aback. Michael B. Jordan and Delroy seemed taken aback. The crowd, you could kind of hear audible gasp of the crowd, kind of in shock of what they heard. But long story short is that John Davison has Tourette's, and he has a tick, and his tick came out. See, once again, niggas laughing. His tick came out at that time, and it was broadcast to the whole, I mean, to the world, and now we have what we have. But the issue, I think, which is important, and this is just a side note, I always say wait a few days before you take a hardline stance on any kind of public story thing, because there's almost always more to meets the eye. And in this case, I think more meets the eye. So, like I said, John Davidson, who said the N word towards Michael B. Jordan, and Daryl Roy, while they were presenting at the awards, came out a few days later in an article with, I believe, Vanity Fair, and basically said, hold up a second. I was basically set up. Now, that wasn't his words per se, but I'm going to read you a direct quote from him that I think uh, encompasses what's going on. Studio Canal were working closely with BAFTA, and BAFTA had made us all aware that any swearing would be edited out of the broadcast, Davidson said. I have made 4 documentaries with the BBC in the past and feel that they should have been aware of what to expect from Tourette's and worked harder to prevent anything that I said, which, after all, was some 40 rows back from the stage from being included in the broadcast. Da-da-da. He also said, as I reflect on the auditorium, I remember there was a microphone just in front of me. With hindsight, I have to question whether this was wise, so close to where I was seated, knowing I would tick. Now, that's what he came out and said days later. At the award show, he did apologize, and he removed himself and didn't watch the rest of the show in the audience where he was. But for me, this is all on the BBC. The BBC, two things need to be acknowledged. They ran this show on a tape delay. The show was a total of 3 hours, and only 2 hours were broadcast. In the 2 hour broadcast, they were able to take out a mention of Palestine. There was a award winner who went up, and when they were receiving their award, said "Free Palestine." That was taken out of their show. The broadcast, that was not seen on the broadcast. BBC knew exactly what they were doing as far as I'm concerned. The BBC wanted a moment. And I think this speaks to a larger thing, that people do not care about black people, whether it's in England, whether it's in the United States, whether it's anywhere. The BBC made a concerted effort that said we would much rather have an issue where we have someone say the N word than we have someone say "Free Palestine," and that to me as a concept is crazy, crazy. So that's all I'll say as far as that goes. Because to me, there's nothing else to be said. I don't think there's much of a conversation to be had, because I don't think John Davidson, I don't think a conversation about Tourette's or tics or anything of that nature should be the focal point, because I don't think that's what's at hand. I think what's at hand is the BBC not doing their due diligence and knowing what could happen, and hoping, in my opinion, hoping that something happened so that we would be talking about them right now.
I feel that. I mean, retweet everything you said too, though, because like, I was gonna bring up the fact that the director, name escapes me at the moment, said "Free Palestine" in his acceptance speech as well. So it's just like, yeah, but so it's the, like I agree with you with the BBC, like just wanting to be talked about and all that, but it's just like they've had a horrible track record job like the last couple years. At least I can stand for like their coverage of October 7th. They were like people have been very critical about that. The coverage of the Epstein files have been like, you know what I'm saying? Like when it came to Mr. What's his name? Manhattan.
Mandelston or Windsor?
Yeah, Windsor. Both of them actually. You know what I'm saying? They ain't really start getting on Madelson or whatever his name is until he stepped down. So, you know what I'm saying? It was just like it was at the Daily News, I feel like, that covered it more or whatever. So it's just like, yeah, bro, like BBC has been trash to me since October 7th. So, um, but I guess it's cool for them. Congratulations. Oh, any press is good press, I assume. So if that's how you want to carry it. But at the same time, it's like niggas gotta relax, right? Because if you choosing racism over genocide, then you need to really go look in the mirror, my nigga. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is a larger British issue. They had a festival over the summer where a performer said "Free Palestine." I want to. I don't remember the exact festival, but there was a
They have multiple.
no. But I'm saying where this one performer.
No, I'm saying they have multiple performers in that one festival.
Oh well, there was a black performer who said "Free
Yeah.
Palestine," and he had a whole bunch. I want to say his name was Bob something. I don't remember his exact name, but he makes like he's a Jamaican, British, Caribbean, British artist, and he had a whole situation where they boycotted him, and it really seems that Britain in particular, they have very very stringent laws on things that people can say, and I find that very interesting because when they decide to make these laws or to put these laws into effect. So I just saw a video the other day where a soccer fan, was getting arrested for apparently saying something anti-Semitic. A Tottenham fan was getting pulled over by the police. Yet we have you guys allowing the N word to be broadcasted on your public TV, on your national TV at your biggest one of your biggest award shows. So
with the
there's a
tape
bit
delay.
there's a bit of a disconnect with the Brits and how they view race relations in general. But I think we already knew that. But Omatic, you want I know you want to get it in or just get some laughter in about this situation.
I don't need to get the laughter in. I mean, so again, I didn't. I think what was it today when I was talking? It might have been today or
Yeah.
yesterday. You know, blinders cat for sure. I had no idea what was going on, and I had no idea that it was tape delayed. Didn't know that they scrubbed a bunch of pretty much everything but that, which is just kind of wild. Um, didn't know they had a mic specifically right in front of him, which is also wild. So, kind of to his defense, I don't know if it's defense or more so, again, this is staged, looking for, some attention here. Um, but the comedy to me is like, why is this your go to Tourette's word?
Well,
Like
see,
why? What is this?
okay,
What is that, bro?
see, this is the one thing I will say. I didn't want to deep dive because Tourette's, like I did very minimal research on like Tourette's, ticks, and things of that nature. And in the minimal research I've come to find out is that it's not that it's a go-to word, but they just say the most. Like apparently, he said 4 to 5 different slurs that night. That was what they had said, and he said it throughout the broadcast. The only one that made air is the N word, and that is
Why is Tourette's? Why do you have to slur? Why are you slurring with the
well,
Tourette's?
it's not
Is
just
that a
this
thing?
offensive thing. So, like, apparently, they'll shout out like stupid. They'll shout out like fat. Apparently, it's like I don't want to. Please don't get me in trouble, people. It's something in the maybe like how autism. You know how they talk about how like people who have autism kind of are just blunt. They just kind of just say what's on their mind. That's apparently what the tick. It's something similar with Tourette's and the tick that it's kind of just whatever is on your. It's the first thing that pops out. So that's
When
what.
they see the subject, this is like the first. They just say this is the
No,
first thing that
it's
goes
just
to my
offensive.
mind.
It's bro like slurs for
That's
gay
wild.
people. Apparently, like they be dropping the f bomb a lot. They be drop like there's no real kind of there's no gauge for them. Like they just be like if you see somebody with it, you would understand. And basically, is what what I've learned is that it's not one of those. Like I'm watching racist movies. That's why I'm saying it. It's just that like they know like these are grown people, so they're part of society, so they understand and they're part of it. So you tell them this is what a gay person is. If they see a gay person, they'll probably be like, ah, like they're not gonna be like, oh, okay, they're just gonna, ah. So, once again, I
But hard ER is where he go. Like you
come
can't
on,
go.
bro.
You
Like I
can't do the salt. You can't do the A. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say black or some shit, bro. You go hard
once
ER, bro.
again, I get what I don't think this is. I don't want to be
It's
dismissive of
funny to
any.
me. Funny to me.
I don't
Funny
want
to
to be
me.
dismissive of anybody who took offense, and because it's like, bro, like, and bro, nobody should just be calling anybody like, come on, that's wild as hell. Like, but I definitely think this is one of those few cases where like there is an actual nuanced situation. But if you guys want more racism that isn't nuanced and is just a little bit, ha ha. I don't know if you guys saw that New York professor who was on a Zoom meeting, and basically she told all the kids that they were because they're black, they're not smart enough to realize that they stupid. Have you seen that, Nomadic? You should watch that video. The professor, apparently she has not been fired yet as of
She hasn't been reprimanded at all.
okay, so that's what I saw, but I just figured as of Thursday night, February 26th, this lady has not been reprimanded. And it was pretty racist. Like, I think, Omatic, you should, as we move on to the next subject, I think you should watch it for a hot second. That way, when we come back, we'll come back to more racism a little bit later. But
Who is this? Who? What?
this was a professor. This was a New York professor. I want to say I don't know exact what New York university she was at, but she was talking to a group of students who I believe were in high school, and this is where she made.
It was younger than that. They was like middle school.
Oh wow, okay, yo. So she was talking to a group of grade school children, and she made the racist comment. You should
Because
enjoy
it's
that.
because the child was like confessing why they don't want their school to get shut down. And it was like a series of little kids,
I
like
figured
three.
they were like of the grade school variety.
Yeah,
Not exactly where, but yeah. So
and so Shorty had the hot mic, and then she basically didn't know her mic was unmuted, and she just kept going, and to the point where like the superintendent of schools had to be like, "Hey, bro, you got a hot mic right now, like chill out."
mm,
And then she had to come out and apologize like the next day, but that's all that happened. Though. She apologized, and she still
she's
said,
still racist. So we'll move on as Nomadic takes it in the racist professor. State of the Union was last night. Longest State of the Union address I saw on record. Hour
"Nah,
and huh?
47 minutes."
Hour and 47 minutes. I personally did not watch a single lick, but I know you both tuned in at certain points. Do you want to give us a quick recap of what you thought of the State of the Union address?
Man, I was like, it was like the outro to a Gucci Mane mixtape. It was just a bunch of shout outs. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ill Will. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Lil Ronnie and all them. Cause like that's basically all he was doing. Like the first 5 minutes was actually a speech. The parts that me and Nomadic were like really in the group chat about was just a bunch of riff raff, bro. Like pointing to the stands, like he'll say something, then step back, and then like expecting applause. Like it was a lot of applause. Like that's one thing that really stood out. I was just like, bro, why do y'all keep clapping for this? And then like he kept talking about like we're going after the fraudsters, and then like he went after he was talking about what was he talking about, Matt? Oh yeah, healthcare. Go to get healthcare credits or something. Wow, bro. Like it was just like, bro, like he's grifting, lying, scamming, all of this, and promoting personal businesses as a president during the State of the Union, which was so crazy to me for you to use his platform for that. So it was just like, bro, it was real life one of the wildest things I've ever watched from a sitting president. I was like, there's no way we calling Joe Biden senile and delusional, and I just watched this from this person. Like real life, bro. Like it was one point, like before he even started talking, they were just up there applauding. I was like, bro, is he stroking out right now? Like, why is he not walking to the microphone? Like, granted, Mike Johnson got to pronounce him, and so like he can step to the microphone. But it's just like there was just a long process. It was just so many claps, and then he just wasn't kept skirting around issues, and then like towards the end, he gave around like 3 minutes. But it was just a bunch of, like I said, a bunch of riff raff, bunch of lies on that too. So it was a very interesting um, thing. I was asleep by the time he started talking about Iran. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm out of here, bro. Like I'm not about to say and watch you shout out 97-year-old war vets.
Omatic, anything you because you tuned into it. Like I said, I did not tune in at all yesterday. Had nothing for it. I caught some highlights. I saw that he brought out the hockey team. I saw he shouted out a
That was
few.
during his first round of shout outs.
Yeah, I saw he shouted out, I guess, some other people, but like nothing really jumped out to me. As far as the stuff he actually talked about, I saw he talked a lot about the tariffs. I saw he threw shade at the Supreme Court. I saw he also talked
While
about
they were sitting in the front row.
yeah, he talked about America being in the golden age, immigration. I saw there was a lot of immigration talk. So honestly, it didn't really seem like it was worthwhile, but it definitely seemed like a spectacle.
It was just cause it was more so a spectacle to me because like it was a lot of Trump die health and like you know what I'm saying like oh yeah we're getting bonds and instead of it being like such and such .gov it's Trump.com or something and I'm like so all of this is going directly through you specifically and it was very interesting to just watch how um, fascism is being presented to us so comfortably.
You tuned in, talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely live. I wouldn't say tweeting because we definitely weren't. We were definitely going back and forth, Brother Mook and I, about what we were witnessing. You know, as I said all week, I'm like, hey, Cat's tuning into the comedy special. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already knew it was just about to be a jokes of a performance. I mean, again, I tuned in probably around 9:20. I was told he already talked about whatever of importance that he already talked about in his first 10, 20 minutes. And then, like Mook said, after that, bro, everything was just a story about a shout out. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out, you know, for like 20-ish minutes. And then you sprinkle in, this is what Trump did, gas prices are this. Let's shout out some more for 10 more minutes. Oh, tariffs did X, Y, and Z. Shout out for 10 more minutes. Oh, we're going to get the people out. Shout outs for another 5 minutes. Like, it was just interesting to me. And I think my overarching point, I feel like I've said this many times when we talk about, you know, the overarching fact of politics here. It's just corny to me, man. Just have been in these rooms before. Um, it's just corny, man. Like the whole divided room. We got to stand and clap to show that we support this. Like, bro, they really. We said an hour and 47 minutes, bro. Niggas was sitting up and standing down for about an hour and 47 minutes, just clapping, bro. Like, what is the point of that, bro? That shit looked like a joke to me, bro. And it just didn't feel real. And it's just like this is what our nation has come to. It's kind of wild. Um, I was mad that I guess they banned signs this year. The
Well,
last state of the union.
the dude got arrested, or they took the dude
That's
out.
what I'm saying. They had the signs. You remember last year they had the little fan signs.
Representative
That
Al
shit.
Green.
That yeah, Al Green 2 years in a row. Shout out to him getting kicked out. I feel him as well. He getting kicked out early. He's like, I'm not about to be here for the tuition. I'm gonna disrupt this shit
But
mad
but
early, and I'm gone. Fuck
but
it.
here's my thing. Like to your point, it's a lot of theater. It's not like
It's the fucking show. That shit was, but that's why I was like, it's a comedy special, bro. Like everything about it to me is just funny, bro. Like, and it's interesting to me that it's really people, not really people. Like these are actual people in this world, in this country, that believe in what he's talking about, believe in what he's doing. And I've been saying, this guy is trying to go out with the bang, bro. I think he knows that time is limited for him. I mean, clearly he's about to be 80. I don't know, what more he can do, how long he's gonna probably live. And I'm just like, he's probably just like, fuck it, bro. I've gotten this far. I've gotten to, two head coaches, two fucking presidencies here at this point. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. Like I can do whatever the fuck I want. I think that's how he moves, bro. And it's just like he got 2 more years of this shit. That's how I was looking at it. I was like, damn, this shit looks crazy. And this man has 2 more fucking years of this shit, bro. And it's just like, what can he do? And he'll honestly do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I think he's proven that. And it's just like, no, we just gotta sit here and be that right side. I don't know what we are in here, but we gotta be that side that doesn't stand up and just being disgust over here. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? So it was disgusting work for me, but it was also comedy to me. Yeah, that shit is crazy. And I also like the the post game fact checker shit. That shit is always funny to me. All the news outlets is like, yeah, everything this nigga said is false. It's just funny. I commented in one little joke, and niggas was coming at me, so I was just like, let me let me not even. I'm not even just locked in, guys. Hey, I'm just making a little quick joke, guys. You don't gotta come at me like I'm one of them guys. We don't gotta do this, man. So
That's funny. All right. Well, um, something that he did bring up in his speech, but very slightly, I saw, and at the end was Iran. And as we've been talking about, war seems pretty imminent at this point. Today, Thursday morning, American Eastern Standard Time, they had negotiations in Switzerland between Jared Kushner and the Iran defense minister. I believe he was the representative for Iran. And to this point, I don't understand how Jared Kushner is I'm just when I see that picture, I'm just kind of I'm like, what? How does he like? Is he what? I'm just very confused about why he's even there in the first place. Like, is he a diplomat? What is he like? What job does he actually have to be doing this? But that's neither here nor there. Um, I just don't really get where we're going next because we're getting, I think, conflicting reports. The Wall Street Journal said that they're not close to a deal, but the Iran foreign minister said that they have a basis for an agreement if the agreement focuses only on nuclear weapons. Now,
They're nowhere close.
we saw something from the AP that said that there were five terms that were very apparently the United States has set for Iran that were non-negotiable, and from those reports, it very much so seems that we're going to war. Asked them to blow up three of their facilities, asked them to not have any uranium forever, asked them to have a lifelong ban as well from ever making nuclear weapons. It seems as though there were many things that were not going to happen. But like I said, we're getting a bit of a back and forth as far as how legit agreement will be to stop actual fighting. But I think that if I had to put a number on, I think we're closer to war, like 70-30, than we are to negotiating not a war. I don't think you bring all those fleets and ships to the Mediterranean or outside of the Mediterranean to do just to have a negotiation. And the last time I checked, did Israel have an attack? Was there some sort of attack from Israel?
They attacked Hezbollah stations in Lebanon today.
Okay, so yes, that was the last thing. Oh, okay, hold on. I just want to, like I said, Wall Street Journal said that they're nowhere close. It was Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi who said, "I
Good
can
job,
say."
Charles. Good shit. Good shit.
Thank you. Who said, I can say that during these long and very intensive hours, we made good progress and seriously got into the elements of an agreement. You'll take with that what you want from him, but those are kind of the lay of the land where we stay with Iran. Fellas, if I had to ask you to put a number on it, 1 to 10, 10 being war, 1 being nothing happens. Where do you think we stand with Iran?
60.
So you're going 60. No matter, do you have a number?
Um, no, but I actually want to know because last time we were here, we said they'd be at war by the next time we record. So I just want to know, you know, where were we last week versus where we are today? All right, so if we're saying 60 right now for Brother Mook, where were we last week? Like, did we go up? Did we go down? You know?
I think last week, I remember we were saying yes, and then I said by March 4th. I remember saying by March 4th, there will be attacks. So today is the 26th. We got about a week till then. So it was 10 to 15 days from last week. That will put us at about 10 days now with about a week or so to go. I would argue last week we were closer to 50. Like, hey, they're gonna, and I think to Mook, I don't know where Mook is. I was closer to 50. I think I'm higher now than I was last week. If last week I was at like 50, I think I'm about, yeah, like I think it's pretty imminent that they will have some sort of attack happen. I think a report that I saw that I found interesting was that the United States wants Israel to attack first so that Iran will attack Israel, and then with that as a precursor, the United States will now jump into the war. And to me, that makes the most sense because public opinion for attacking Iran is very low. I don't think you can find a poll that shows Americans want to attack Iran, but I think if you can get Israel to attack Iran and Iran to attack back, you can get enough Americans to say they're okay with an attack once that happens. So I think that is the play now. The hope is that you can force Iran's hand. They did it last summer. Like I said, Iran's foreign minister came out, I want to say a month or two ago, and said that the United States asked them to do the summer bombings. They basically more theater. They asked them to have a show of military action to appease people. Maybe something like that happens again. I cannot speak to it, but I don't think you can force the Iran government hand. I think they're in a much. I think after what they did last summer, they're in a much stronger position to say, "Screw you guys." Like you didn't obliterate our nuclear facilities. You didn't do all these things. So why now would we do this again? So I think that's where I would stand on the Iran situation.
I mean, I was at like 60 last week. I'm still at 60 this week for the simple fact that what Charles just said, because Trump it doesn't really want to go to war with Iran. I said that last week, and he said it today actually. Like he's like, bro, I don't want to go to war with them. Like there will be no war. I do believe like the agreement that Iran presented today, I do think that's the agreement. Well, for one, that it would be pretty much the same agreement that Obama set forth when he was in office. And I think that's why Trump is really prolonging the agreement if we would ever get to one, because he would have to, like, reporters would stand, like, bro, this is the exact same agreement that you talked about and defamed for however long you've been talking about the Iran agreement. Um, that's one. Two, I don't think the Iranians respect Trump because he won't talk to them face to face. You know what I'm saying? And they won't meet with Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff face to face. Like they go through someone from Oman. You know what I'm saying? They go through one of their representatives. Like it's a third party negotiation. So like I also feel like that's one reason that this negotiation is being held up. And yeah, Israel, I feel like you said, to add on to your point, like last summer, those missiles in Tel Aviv really shook them, bro. Like, oh shit, like missiles made it through. And like they didn't expect for their population to die. I think they want American soldiers to die so that they can say like, all right, bet we got the full backing of the American government and we can do what we want. And it's just like, all right, cool. But at the same time, like I feel like nobody's paying attention to what Iran's government is doing right now, like loading up on ballistic missiles and all of that shit. So it's just like you can say what you want, but you know what I'm saying, like if you want to be patient, we can practice sabr, my nigga. Like it is Ramadan. Like we practice patience all year round, but this month specifically, like we can be patient. Like we're in no rush to do anything. Like it's cool. And then the Iranians left the negotiation table today. Like they called it a break, but I read in one report where they actually just left the room. Like it was just like, yeah, bro. Like I don't know what y'all talking about. We out of here. And then like they ended up coming back, and then that's when Charles was talking about like the one say agreement, the other side said no, but like the ballistic missiles thing is going to be the hold up because Israel is like we cannot allow them to have ballistic missiles, and then Iran is like, at that point we're not a country. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we don't have a military force if we don't have ballistic missiles. Like at that point, so it's just like yeah, and y'all can't be the only country in the Middle East that can defend yourselves or has the right to defend themselves, as they would say. So it's just like, or have the right to exist. So it's just like, yeah, bro, like just stop what you're doing. And yeah, and BB is under a lot of pressure right now. So I just really want to see what how him and Trump are about to react in these next coming weeks. Like that's what I'm really paying attention to. Cause like Ayatollah out here outbarring Trump like the same night of as soon as the joint went off, like Ayatollah was just like, I'm on Twitter with it. You know what I'm saying? He he dropped some bars for Trump, you know what I'm saying? They'll release the video and was just like, yeah, bro, like stop talking about us and left it at that.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to follow up on that. I definitely think we're in a interesting place as far as Iran, Israel, and the United States. I think you've made the very salient point multiple times on the pod that Trump doesn't actually want to bomb Iran. But I think, and this is funny, I think Tucker Carlson might actually, as when we're telling the story, when the history books are telling the story, might actually play a very large part in this. His interview with Mike Huckabee maybe it was last weekend or earlier this week, when he basically got Mike Huckabee to say that Israel wants to have a greater Israel, and that annexing the West Bank or whatever isn't where they're going to stop. They're going to go into Syria. They're going to go into Iraq. They're going to go into Iran. They're going to go into these other places, and it is their God given right. That was met with a lot of condemnation from Arab leaders, Middle East leaders all around, basically saying, does Israel really think they can do that? And I think that in itself forced a global or a worldwide kind of conversation about what does this war really mean? Is this war a pretext to Israel's actual a goal of a greater Israel? And it opened, I think, a lot of eyes in the Arab world. A lot of Arab leaders, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, even people who hate each other had to look around and say, oh, like maybe it is not in our best benefit to turn a blind eye and let Iran go down in this war, because will ultimately be a casualty on the back end. So I think that is a very, very important footnote here, that Tucker Carlson, once again, an interview Tucker Carlson did with the ambassador of that's what Huckabee is, right? He's the ambassador to Israel for the United States, may ultimately play a large role in making sure, or in making in part that a war in the Middle East between Iran and the United States doesn't happen. That is actually very funny to me when you really think about how global politics works. That a random reporter might be the one who ultimately is the reason why this doesn't happen. Very,
Yeah,
very.
man, he stole my flow. I said that last week.
You did. I to be fair, you have been. I have sung your praises many a times on here. You have been locked in as far as the foreign policy goes. You have been on one. And something that I know Trump didn't talk about at the State of the Union was Epstein, and we have.
Hey Charles, that's a crazy segue.
Yeah, I mean that's a big news thing. But what we've been doing, like I've said before, we are your number one place for Black people talking about Epstein in America to get your Epstein information. There's no other Black people in the country talking about the Epstein case and levels and layers like we are here. So, like I said, like listen, you're not gonna hear nigga and Epstein too many other places but here. Just put,
It's time to put your tinfoil koofies on, ladies and gentlemen. If you got
so
your tinfoil koofy handy, go ahead and slap that thing on right now. You hear me? Go ahead. Okay, we locked in. We locked
so
in. Go ahead, Chuck.
so today we're gonna start with the deposition. So if you guys know Hillary Clinton, her and her husband over these next 2 days will be doing a deposition on the Epstein files, what they know about it. They have been called to Congress. That I just want to make that clear. This is not something they have. They were a Congress. I forget which Congress member was going to put them in contempt of court if they did not come. So this isn't something that is just the benevolence of their heart. They have been summoned here, and to that point, Hillary has asked for a public hearing. You know who's the dumbass? Boebert. Boebert, everyone knows her. She's randomly a somewhat famous congresswoman. She took a picture today, which caused the delay in the deposition of Hillary Clinton. But just so we know, Hillary Clinton's deposition was today. Some highlights. She said that she had no idea about their criminal activities. I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island home or offices. She said in her opening statement. She also posted that to Twitter. Then I saw there's a very funny picture of her and her husband and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And once again, this isn't to defend anybody, but I have taken pictures with people that I do not know. I'm just gonna like I'm just gonna be straight up with you. Like I have been in pictures with people who
Never
I,
been to a go-go before.
I have. Bro, have you been to any event in your life? I've been to a wedding. I've been to many a weddings in the last five
Yeah,
years, and I have
yeah.
taken many of pictures with people. Me and my wife have taken pictures of couples that I might know the husband, I might know the wife, I might know one. I don't know these people, but I have taken pictures with them. So I hate that I feel like I have been defending white people a lot on this episode, but
Hey, James.
yeah, I'm not even paying him no attention. This is one of those things where like it's not. I'm hard pressed to be like, oh yeah, because she took a picture, she knew it. Like that to me is kind of a reach. It's kind of a reach. But outside of her that statement that she made after the interview, she said, "I answered every one of their questions as fully as I could, and those questions were repetitive. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, and I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. I don't know how many times I had to say I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein." She said, adding, the session took an odd turn towards the end when one of the members asked her about UFOs and the Pizzagate conspiracy theory. Like I said, yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot of theater. The way we this to me is the next level in the theater process. Her husband will be deposed tomorrow, Friday, so maybe we'll get some better quotes or better tidbits. But today, her deposition was kind of meh. Didn't really do much for me. Didn't move me in any real way. But if y'all got anything, y'all want to get in there about Hillary's deposition, talk to me.
I'm just here for her just being like, fuck it, I'll go to trial. I'll just talk about whatever. I wasn't there. Like, I really feel her being like, I wasn't there. We know my husband is a wild man. He was there, but I wasn't there. I have nothing to do with this.
At
I
one
really
point,
feel it for that.
at one point, they asked her about the Clinton Foundation and their connections. She was like, "You got to ask my husband about that."
Hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel it 1,000%. Like, I'm not mad at her at all, man. Go ahead, Gil. We'll see what Big Bill got to talk
She looks
about.
like Sabrina
Wow.
Carpenter too. You know, I got a soft spot for Sabrina Carpenter, so I love that.
That's
But
some good milk right there, boy.
you know it. That's what I'm talking about. But the other part of the Epstein update that I think is important is that we have reports from NPR that last month, when the DOJ released more than 3 million pages, Omatic was on this, related to the Epstein, it withheld files related to allegations that Trump sexually abused a minor. NPR reported that the DOJ failed to make some files public despite the legal mandate requiring the release, and that the unreleased files include more than 50 pages of FBI interviews and notes from interviews with a woman who accused Trump of sexual abuse that she said occurred decades ago when she was a minor. Now, this to me is the point that I think Omatic made a few weeks ago. First of all, who is responsible for these files? and are they going to miss anything? That was the non. I think Omatic did that from a non-sinister, just from a legitimate like, hey, there's a lot of files.
That's a logical question.
Just from a very hey like logistics, not even logic, but a logistics standpoint. Like,
Yeah, like
hey, there's all this. How is this all going to work? And that's what I think the Trump administration was banking on. That enough people would just be like, there's a lot of these. Hey, some went through the crack. This is the problem I think that Trump's DOJ had. They turned this thing into a spectacle from the very beginning. I don't know if y'all remember when they called all those influencers to the White House and they gave them those packets and they were running across the White House lawn with, we got the Epstein files. We got the Epstein files. This is like in like January, I feel like.
it was the same day that Israel invited all the influencers to the White House and all that
Whatever.
shit.
And they were parading all these. That was the first mistake because you made this a spectacle. You made something that a lot of people think is heinous, is very evil.
I mean, he ran on the release of them.
You turned this into something for Instagram likes. So now you have made it so the general public thinks this is kind of a joke. Like the general public thinks that you guys are like hiding stuff, you're lying, da da da. But now you start redacting files, and then we start seeing names. So then you just start throwing They threw out. They had pictures of Michael Jackson and what was
Chris Tucker.
nah not but they had the pictures of Michael Jackson, his kids, and dude from ATL, his Diana Ross. They had a picture with them that they had redacted, and then you go look that you can find that picture on Getty. So you guys try to do the thing where you try to do a misdirection. You just throw stuff out there and you see what sticks, you see what doesn't. But the last thing, and I think that they didn't think was, yo, the internet started doing the work. So some of the redactions they did with the faces, where they cut out like up to here, but you could see a background. You had people. There's this one woman who on the internet who's been on TikTok in particular who's been really good at basically being like, well, this kind of looks like this person. Do you think this look? And basically insinuating, hey, this redacted photo is this person. And I don't think that the Trump administration actually thought that people. I think Moo brought up that people aren't going to care or they're going to move on. So they try to do Venezuela. They've tried to do Iran. They've tried to do all these other things. They've tried to say that the tariffs. They've tried as much things to look this way. But at the end of the day, if you are accused of raping children, nobody is going to look away. Like that's not some. We're not talking about tax fraud. We're not talking about gun possessions. We're not talking about things that people.
Smoking crack in the White House.
We're not talking about drugs. We're not talking about things that people deem wrong, but they could understand. Once we start talking about children in particular harming children, no matter where, no matter what race, no matter what part of the
Class.
politics, whatever gender, everyone seems to be in agreement that that's wrong. And I don't think they did the calculus on this enough. I don't really think the Trump administration really took into account that, hey, you're accused of sexually assaulting. Like, we're not talking, you cheated on your wife. You can get away with that. We're not talking you cheated on your taxes. We're talking you harmed children. Not gonna go well. So, like I said, the NPR has come out with that, like I said, these files weren't redacted. These files have gone missing, straight up missing. They were there at one point, and now they're not. And to me, that just screams guilty. Like I don't know how much more so to me, if you're still off the defending Trump, that says a lot about you. I think at this point.
No, fact. And I think this really turned up when that's why I was like watching the Pam Bondi jump because she's the DOJ, like she's head of the DOJ doing her what was that Congress hearing. I was watching that and she flat out said during her testimony, she was like, well, I don't know what's in the files. And when I say every congressperson made a face and was like, oh, you don't know what's in them? And then I'm like, she just said that in a room full of lawyers, bro. Like they read paperwork for a living, my nigga. Like 3 million, it don't matter, Slim. Like however long it take me to read this, I'ma read it. So it's just like it's kind of crazy that an experienced lawyer like herself didn't just plead the fifth when she was asked that question. And I was just like, oh, and this was like before her big Kirk out started calling people anti-Semitic and all of that. Like this is when she was fairly calm in the conversation. So I think this is when that really turned up. And I'm starting to think people really watching the labs, Mo. Like, cause like, John, like we batting pretty high numbers right now, fellas. Hey, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all boys out here. You got blinders on and still doing your homework. I see you, boy. Hey, I see. Hey,
Let's move on to our last political
No, no,
politics.
no, no. Before you go on here,
Okay,
I
Mr.
just want to say,
Blinders.
I just want to say, man, I think I am very much so in agreement. Right, once you harm the children, it's an issue. Yes, files have been redacted or lost, but like, I don't even think this is as big of a deal if you're saying that the be all here is kids. I don't think it's being talked about like this could be the thing that finally clips the cat. So I think this goes back to my overarching point of this guy is gonna do whatever the fuck he wants and get away with it type shit. Because
you've
I
been
don't think this is
associated
gonna
with
hit.
murder too.
I mean, how could he not? We sat up here and read the whole family history. I was talking to this about with my guy at work today. We literally read the whole family history. I mean, there has to be some sort of they're not unscathed. Let me just start and stop there.
No, I'm talking
But
about like with the children.
that he allegedly has
He
raped
was
as well.
responsible for a murder of one of the children who's been assaulted. One of the Epstein victims. Someone said they
Yeah,
blew out. She like her head blew out. That was the thing that there was a driver who said that he overheard Trump talking in the back about assaulting a woman, and this driver allegedly said that he almost was going to attack Trump. It's been a lot. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot going on here.
he's hey man, hey man. That's all I got.
Let's move on to. That's all I got. People love that's your all I got. Let's move on to Cuba. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I thought this was probably the most interesting story of the week. Cuba says it ordered off armed Cuban militants who were living in the U.S. who attempted to commit a terrorist attack on Cuban soil. U.S. attack gone wrong, or Cuban nationalists just trying to save their lovely country. Some details: Cuba's Ministry of the Interior has announced that its patrol forces engaged in a shootout with a speedboat that was registered from Florida. Keep that in mind; that'll be important later. In a statement published to social media, they said that the crew of the violating speedboat opened fire on the Cuban personnel, resulting in the injury of the commander of the Cuban vessel. As of the as of the time of the report, four aggressors of the foreign vessel were killed and six were injured. The shooting took place on Wednesday, offshore from the barrier island Cayo Falcones in Cuba's north central due to the Villa Clara province. In a follow up statement, Cuba's interior minister said uh, all six of the suspects who were arrested are Cuban residents of the United States. Let's get to the United States part of it. Secretary Rubio, Secretary of State Rubio said it was not a U.S. government operation and that he wasn't going to speculate about whose boat it was, and they were doing why what they were doing and why they were there, what actually happened. He also told reporters that it is the U.S. is gathering their own information as to whether the Cubans who were detained are citizens or permanent residents. Now,
Hey yo,
like I said, the boat that these men went on used to have this mission was registered in Florida. And like I said, I think this is the most important thing. Keep attention right here. The registration number for the boat given by the Cuban government showed it was a 24-foot Proline center console fishing vessel built in 1981. The person whose name is on the registration of the as the owner of the boat involved in the shootout owns a home in Miami Lakes, records showed. An NBC6 reporter was at the home on Wednesday of the man who owns the boat when two people who identified themselves as FBI agents approached the front door and spoke with a family member through a doorbell camera. Now, if Rubio said that this wasn't in a United States operation of any sorts, and you find out that the boat that these guys took to is owned by someone who lives in Miami, and as of yesterday, when the news reporters went to the house to talk to the man who owned that boat, the FBI decided to come to his house. That might tell you something. I'm gonna let you guys put all the other pieces together. But like I said, 10 people went to Cuba on a boat owned by somebody in Miami. 4 of them died, 6 of them got arrested. The boat owner currently in Miami had reporters come to his house, and while at his house, the FBI came to talk to them. Do with all of that information you will. Do with that you will.
Hey man, I seen somewhere today that one of the captives, one of the gentlemen that got caught, he said that we came here on the mission of the United States to come and cause terrorism and cause an uproar. Because Cuba is also on their list of regime change, as we know, in the places in the Caribbean and south, further South North America. So it's just like, but like I've seen it, I feel like they just taking all the bad things that happened, like all the failures from all the other presidents, and just trying to do them and be like, oh, we'll be successful at this. Like it's just Bay of Pigs all over again. Like if you don't know what the Bay of Pigs is, please go do your research. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like something like that. It's just the fact that we didn't have a pilot this time. We had people on the boat, which doesn't sound smart because I feel like Cuba, even though they don't have much, they will have a somewhat strong border patrol. You know what I'm saying? Like speech to
That's all
that,
they
like
got. Literally, all they
yeah,
got.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, fool. And then it's just like they communists, so it's just like, of course they got guns. So it's just like I don't think a lot of people did their homework. Like, I really think like these people are living in the past. Like, I really believe that our government believes it's 1966 and they can just do stuff militarily. Like we don't have the internet like that no more. Like we was talking about Watergate. Like how did all this happen without doing back in Watergate? We didn't have the internet, my nigga. Like technology wasn't where it's at. Even if we had the cameras, it probably would be blurry because the pixels wasn't up. So it's just like, fool. I need Mark Rubio. You working for a man that called your wife ugly. You lost my respect a long time ago. So it's just like, fool, you just need to go sit down somewhere. So I'm cool off you. Like, and then you got people doing your job in the Middle East instead of having them talk in America where they need to be at. So you just don't have
I
no
still can't
scruples,
get over the fact that Jared Kushner be in those meetings. Like
bruh. Like, why are you talking to them?
I'm just so baffled.
If I was the Iranian leader, like president, whoever is in talking to them people, I'm like, bro, I'm not talking to a child, fool. Like, get his father in here or tell his father-in-law to come talk to me because I'm not talking to this little nigga. Like,
Apparently,
y'all
his
go.
father's a nasty worker too.
His father should be in federal prison still, if I'm not mistaken, or did he get pardoned by Trump?
I know he became the ambassadors or somewhere.
All right, so he got pardoned by Trump, but he was in federal prison during his first term.
I could see that. Let's. Anybody else? Oh, Matt, you got anything on the Cuba shootout?
The only thing that came to mind is, I'm not too sure we can say that, they're trying to finesse. Right? You said the boat was what registered in 80 what?
It was no. It's a eight. It was born. I think the model of the boat is 81.
81.
Maybe cats got the boat in '81. Maybe cats are trying to think well in advance, right? You know what I'm saying? This is where I'm at with it. Once you said '81, maybe they just had this. You know what I'm saying? Over in Cuba, just as their super backup plan
No, but this
to
is
kind of
Miami.
be,
The boat is registered to someone in Miami.
and it happened in Cuba, right?
They took the boat from Miami to Cuba.
Just recently.
Yes, to like during the mission.
Oh,
Tuesday.
that's when they got clapped at.
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
bro. They didn't
Okay.
even. They were. They didn't even make it to like Cuba. Like they were
like
like a
before they
couple.
got there, the Cuban border patrol, they got in the gun and the shootout and pow pow pow.
You know, as a man that smokes cigars, man, I really want to go to Cuba, but I really can't. So
I heard Cuba's a really good place to go.
We can go. I don't think it. Well, not anymore. I don't think after
Yeah, I
that
don't know, but
happened. I
like
don't think we can go anymore. But
there
we
was a
could
time
there
go.
was a
frame.
time when we could.
Yeah, there was a time frame.
Time when we could, and now it's not there.
Yeah, listen, man. I know Cuba. They had something recently where it was either Nicaragua or Honduras. I can't remember which exact country was basically being pressured by the United States to not continue their doctors exchange program with Cuba. They've had ships embargoed that have been trying to deliver oil to them.
I'm gonna say they
So
just ran out of oil today.
yeah, I definitely saw something. I saw something in which that they said that the Mexican government had made a law in which saying that any ship that docked in Mexico would be allowed to fuel to give cargo or to give oil to Cuba, and they said they had halted that. But then there was a recent after the cartel issues in Mexico. The Mexican president, she said that she insinuated that that program or that operation would be back and running. So we'll see.
Shout out to the cartel for getting shit in motion, man.
So we'll see if that actually does happen. But yeah, like sanctions, it's funny to me. Like I feel like I learned maybe within like the last 5 years just how just what sanctions actually are and what they mean to like the world. And honestly, that's how you cripple a society is by having these sanctions and these things put upon them that
And then being embargoes, tariffs.
crumbles them and basically makes it hard to do anything. Like basically no country within miles of Cuba can help them because of sanctions. And no matter how you feel about the dictatorship and all these different things, anybody who I think is having any conversation in good faith has to be honest about the fact that the sanctions are playing just as much as a role in the detriment of that society as anything that Fidel or any other dictator could or couldn't have done. Like once again, I'm not saying that he is right. I'm not. This is not an endorsement or actual an anti endorsement of any policies or of the Cuban people, but more so a conversation about sanctions and how sanctions ultimately affect the people who live there on a day to day. So that shit is really fucked up. I don't. Once again, no matter where you stand, I think sanctions as a whole, people should, I think, learn a little bit more about what sanctions are and how they affect the global order and what that means. Like that shit really has a ultimate detriment to the way people in other worlds live, other places of the world live.
You gotta control the narrative, Charles. It's easy to call a place a third world country when you're the one making it a third world country.
That is very profound, very profound. All right, we like to talk sports on this podcast, and we are at that point of the season or in the sports calendar where it's not really a lot going on. The NBA is in high gear. College basketball is finishing up. Shout out women and the men's. Football is over. We have crowned a champion, but we are in the peak off season, combine, draft, all that good stuff. Baseball, spring training is on the way. Hockey, they just came
Baseball
back.
started.
Baseball season
Base-
is starting at spring training.
I mean, they playing games. If you're a real baseball fan, you know baseball season
They
started.
playing spring training. We got hockey. Shout out to the U.S. men's hockey team. They won their first gold in 46 years.
To the
Shout out to
day.
shout out to Jack Hughes. That's our man's guy. But like I said, it's a lot. It's
Is it
not.
still his guy?
Yeah, Jack Hughes is cute. It's cool. I don't think there's any. There's no real like.
He
You know,
said he's.
he
He
got
said
that
he's.
thing where
Whoa, 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 whoa! Zio Maddox, God, this man's name is Jay Hughes. What are you talking about? From Orlando. What are you talking about? Like we have ties.
we have ties is crazy.
I
You
thought
I
you
guys
seen
have,
said
him
he
on March
sold out.
Florida.
My bad. My bad.
you
Oh yeah,
guys
he
have
did sell out the other night, but
you guys have
you
no
know,
ties. But
we got
let's get
ties.
let's
Y'all have some things
Brother
in
went
common.
to his brother went to Michigan. What are you talking about? Locked in.
let's focus on the
All
sport
right,
that's getting the most attention right now, the NBA.
NASCAR is back too.
Oh, shout out to NASCAR. Shout out to Michael Jordan. He
Facts.
what did he win on Madden?
Daytona 500.
So his team was the first team, well, not the first, but the seventh team to win the first two races back to back of a NASCAR season. So shout
And he
out
won
to
the Daytona
Michael.
500, correct?
He did win the Daytona 500. That's the big race. It's kind of funny to me that the big race is the first race of the season, uh, which is wild. Well, he won it.
Ty-
Shout out to him.
Talladega's the real big race.
So
Hey,
so shout out to Jordan, another award or another trophy in the cabinet.
Black
But
doing Black History Month, black man.
right, shout out to him.
twice.
But let's focus on this one particular conversation for today's episode. The NBA 65 game rule. Is it going to hurt MVP voting this year? So I don't know if you guys know, but after the 23, well, let me make sure I just get this exactly correct.
24 seasons, which are 23,
The
24
league
seasons.
before the 24 season, the league instituted the 65 game rule that said a player had to play 65 regular season games to be eligible for postseason awards. What are postseason awards? MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA teams, Rookie of the Year, etc., etc. Now, I call this the Joel Embiid Award because Joel Embiid won his MVP playing, I believe it was 60 some 66 or some 60 games, and there was just a lot of conversation
Did
of
he even get to 60?
it was yeah, I think he basically just got to 60, and there was a lot of conversation about him versus Jokic that year. He basically, if I remember correctly, Jokic had played more and probably had a totality of a better season, but when Embiid played Jokic that season, he dominated him, and in the times that Embiid did play, was just as good as Jokic. Might not have been better, might have been just as good, but once again, that is a conversation for another day. Ultimately, though, I think the question now is this a good rule? Because this season, multiple players have already not eligible. Steph, Giannis already not eligible for postseason awards. Jokic can only miss one more game. SGA, as of today, I believe can only miss four more. Wemby can only miss four more games. And these are the I just named five of maybe the six.
LeBron
LeBron
ineligible.
already can has no cannot is not eligible for postseason awards. Luca can only miss, I believe, 3 or 4 more games before he's not eligible for postseason awards. Kawhi Leonard not eligible. I've gone through a lot of players, a lot of I would argue all NBA caliber players who would not be eligible for awards. Is this something that we think is an actual big deal, or is it just something that this is just a funny year because of injuries and we won't have to worry about this in the future?
I don't think it's a big deal. Um, for one, injuries happen. You can't have it. You know what I'm saying? Lord, Allah knows best when those things may occur. If you don't make it that year, you don't make it that year. I think this is more so for the people that like purposely set out low management, shit like that. But it also brings attention to guys like K, JB, Anthony Edwards, like the other people that should be getting MVP votes that are also having a heck of a season. So it's just like push pressure on those other guys to stay in the lineup as well. But I just think like it's broadening the game, bro. Like we have more people that we can focus on now when it comes to MVP voting instead of these few numbers like we've been paying attention to these last what 5 6 years. So it's just like instead of it being Giannis, SGA, Jokic, and a dab of Luca in there, it's just like I bet we got more people to talk about now, and then the way K's been playing, and I think Anthony Edwards is revving up to have a good second half of the season. I think Tyrese Maxey's having a hell of a year. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's a lot of people that could have MVP voting this year, depending on how you look at it. But prayers up to those guys for their health. But at the same time, it's just like who is the best guy right now, who's most valuable for their team. And I feel like availability is the best ability. And if you're healthy, then cool. If you can't play 62 games,
65.
65 out of 82, like, come on, bro. Like, that's kind of crazy.
I mean, I have mixed feelings. I think, like I said, I think this was an award just because Joel Embiid, they figured that Joel Embiid would be in running for these things for the next few years, and I think this season is a perfect example. When Joel Embiid plays, he puts up MVP numbers. He just doesn't play enough to be, to be considered for many of these awards and things. And I think they used him and maybe people like Kawhi as a standard and not outliers. Like I said, many years, like SGA plays 70 plus games
Yeah,
almost every
true.
season. Jokic, for all the talk about this and that, he always plays. Like Jokic isn't really a guy who just misses 10s to 15, 20 games a season. So I think it was an overreaction by the NBA because the NBA, to me, of all the leagues, listens too much to what its fans think. They're the only league that when people are like, you remember in the early 2000s when they changed the basketball for like one season? Like the NBA does stuff like that because
That was a
when they
terrible ball.
when they when they feel as though people aren't saying they're not getting good PR, they have to do something. And to me, that's not really how a successful business works. Like the NFL, the people every year people got something to say about the NFL. The tush push for it is a perfect example. People have been crying about the tush push at this point it seems like for almost half a decade. The NFL, they do a vote. They like, yo, y'all vote for it. If y'all vote to have it, we'll have it. If y'all don't vote to have it, we won't, and we're gonna keep it pushing. NFL has basically gone from a defensive, I'm gonna hit you physical league to a scoring league. When we grew up, jacked up, people getting NFL players knocking each other out was the norm. That was what football was sold as. Now it's sold as an offensive sport where scoring is the norm. Correct?
Hmm.
It's all about offense, all about this. So the NFL will they don't care if you think it wasn't a pass interference. If you that doesn't matter to them. The NFL has decided they are a scoring league. So hey, what was it? When it was the New Orleans Saints versus the Rams in the NFC title game, and that dude blew the wide receiver up. It was a clear pass interference. The NFL was like, buddy, that's not what we're doing now. People complained. People did all of this. People did all of that. And what happened? They kept it pushing. Like people still to this day are complaining about that controversy. The only thing the NFL does is do things for Josh Allen, and it still hasn't worked for him. They can change all the overtime rules. They can change all of this, and it still won't help. Do what you got to do. I don't know what are you looking at? What are we looking at?
I think he's getting a jersey. But
No,
one of my
I had to get out of the picture. Like, well, we got to bring Josh out.
No, I'm just saying that was just it was a point. But
I do
ultimately,
think that I do think the 62 game rule should just be for MVP though. If
just
that's
for
the case,
MVP.
yeah. And, like if we're gonna change it, then just make it for the MVP. Like
Okay.
all the other post game, like postseason awards, then like take it up to what? I guess you could say 70, maybe. Like if you want to penalize people for postseason awards, but like for
Or
MVP,
make it less. You mean like it would be less? You could play less games. or should you want more?
I mean, like MVP is like maybe 70, and then the rest 62. How about that?
I would do it the opposite. So I would make the threshold for MVP higher. You have to play a higher amount of games for MVP. But if you want to be All NBA, you can play 60 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah.
yeah. That's what I'm
So
saying. Like MVP 70 and the
yeah,
rest like 62. Like yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Cool.
yeah. I'm
Like
not. I actually think that's a decent idea because most of the time the MVP is going to like MVPs normally aren't guys who don't play
that's what I'm saying.
65 plus games. Like you have to play a lot of games to be that valuable to your team. So I think and there's always outliers and I don't think there's enough evidence that there's enough guys who are outliers for it to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think there's enough guys who have MVP performances who only play like 60 games. Most guys on a year-to-year basis who are MVPs
Like
are going
70
to
to
play 70 plus
77.
games. Like
Yeah.
I would love to look at the MVPs of the last 15 years and how many games played they have. I'm willing to bet most of them are at least 72 plus. You're shaking your head no.
I mean, the MVP front runner this year is not going to play 72 games.
Well, it's not going to matter though because you have to play 65 games to win the MVP. So
I
unless
mean, yeah, it's not going to matter what you said. They have to play 72 of 82. I'm just saying the front runner this year is not going to play
well, the
72
front
games.
runner that's what I'm saying. The front runner without the rules would. I mean, the front runner would be SGA or
Right now, it's Shea, and
Joe.
he's already missed 10. So you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Okay.
My thing with the rule, I'm not mad at the rule. I think this is 75% of the season, which I think is fine. You know what I'm saying? Play for 75% of the season. But I'm a cake and eat it too guy with this rule. I'm not a fan of. I like how to Mook's point, right? Like maybe this just needs to be for like MVP and stuff of that nature, or just maybe all the awards like that. For me, I'm not a fan of this affecting like all NBA cats, right? Like everybody that's already disqualified are clearly all NBA cats.
Like that's what
I
I'm
don't,
saying, bro.
you know what I'm saying? Like as much as people said, Adam Silver won the All Star game. There was plenty people that weren't playing in that All Star game. That are probably all NBA cats, and they're not playing because they're hurt, and they're probably not going to be able to be eligible for these awards, in particular all NBA teams, because they're hurt. I mean, I'm not a LeBron guy. You're 23. His numbers are better than a lot of cats out here, and he's ineligible for the first time in his career to be an All NBA player, and I think that's just. And again, I'm not a LeBron guy, but that's just crazy to me, right? Yeah, you can't be eligible for. Obviously, you're not getting any other award, an MVP, six man, none of that shit, LeBron. But like to not have the opportunity to be All NBA, one, two, or three, that's kind of crazy to me. So I do like it for the fact of like the MVPs, the six man's, the rookie of the year. Yes,
Like
play these games, but
shit. That's it. And
to,
maybe even first team.
maybe even first team as well, right? Like I'm cool with that as well. Like I like that as well. But like like a second and third team, you can't get that because let's say you play 60 of the 65, but you still put up these godly numbers. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of wild to me, and I don't know what I would do for that for the numbers. When y'all were talking about, it, I was like maybe 50 of the 82, but that seems kind of low as well. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like Steph's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's ineligible at this point, bro. Giannis, my guy, ineligible. You know what I'm saying? Like these are all world players here, and it doesn't make sense. This is gonna be a stain essentially on their, records when they go down in history. And it's just like when Steph plays, he's kind of the best cat on the court. When Giannis plays, he's the best cat on the court. I can't give it to LeBron as best cat on the court. Year 23, but like at year 23, 41, 42, whatever the hell you are a top tier player on the court, and you're not all NBA. It's kind of crazy. So
I
I'm,
looked
I'm a
at
cake and eat it too,
I
for
looked at
sure.
all the MVPs since the 2016-17 season. No MVP player has played less than 70 games.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like it's only
Russell
right.
Russell Westbrook 81. Harden Harden played 72 his MVP season. Giannis played
This me my joke.
72, and then the next season was the uh, COVID season, so there was only 60 something games. He played all 60. Nikola played 72, 73, and B played 66. Nikola played 72, and then Shea played 76. So the last 10 MVPs, the only guy who not to reach 70 games in regular season was Joel
Right.
Embiid. Like I said, it seems like it was an overreaction. Most MVP players are going to play 70 plus games. That's how the NBA works. You're not going to be one of the best players in the NBA not playing that many games. You're not going to be able to put the numbers up. You're not going to get the stats. It's just how that league works.
Like think about every person he named was damn near like also scoring champion. Like or in the running for scoring champion. Like you gotta be out there putting up numbers in order for you to get that award, bro. So it's just like, yeah, bro, like just raise the number, Adam.
Steph Curry in the back-to-back years, a guy who's you know what's so funny about Steph Curry? People talk about his injuries like the beginning of his career, but that's a false narrative. For Steph Curry's career, games played, first season 80, second season 74, third season 26, fourth season 78, fifth season 78, sixth season 80, seventh season 79, eighth season 79. Steph Curry just stopped playing games. It was the 1920 season is when he got hurt and he only played 5 games. Prior to that,
2019, because 1920
2019
would have been
20,
nuts.
when he got
1920 would have been nuts.
2019-20 when he got hurt 5 games into the season. Before that, Steph Curry has played. He played 69, 51, 79, 79, 80, 78, 78, 26. Like there's one season where he got hurt.
Listen, I got Steph. I can go pull out the Steph Curry jersey. I'm not. You can't tell me that we're gonna sit there and say them ankles were not. Them damn ankles was fragile.
Once again, it's not about
The
the.
first
It's
few
about
years.
it's about the
I'd,
narrative that
I'd love to know how many minutes he was playing in those first few years. But, right?
20,
Like,
36 minutes his first season, 33,
Okay, he was playing with it.
28, 38.
you know,
Like that's the thing.
he declined and then we got right.
Steph got hurt that third season and missed a large, and I think that narrative carried that. Oh, Steph be hurt because he
Well,
missed some.
it was that with the college narrative too, because that's what we were saying in college. It was like, oh yeah, he can't translate, and then boom, he gets hurt third year. That's kind of
He was wasn't he second in like rookie of the year voting? Like I said, I feel like this is the last point I wanted to make before I
But
leave.
I just think he played with them thick ass ankle braces. That's really
that messed
why.
up a lot of things for cats.
Yeah.
That eye vision was like, fuck.
This is because you made me think of it. I think NBA fans have a skewed perspective of what NBA basketball players actually are, and I say that because people will be like, "Oh, this X player plays on this team. Why aren't they? Why isn't the team good? Or like, why da da da?" And the thing is, basketball, like most sports, is not just about the skill set. Like, there's a lot of people, not even just basketball, life in general. There's a lot of people who are talented or good at something, and it doesn't translate. It doesn't actually mean anything past the fact that they are good at that thing. And I think that happens a lot in the NBA. A lot of NBA fans are like, I love the way this guy plays. This guy is, and that might be very true, but that person doesn't actually help winning or doesn't benefit a team past the fact that they're really good at skillful. I hate to bring this person, but Kyrie Irving is literally the epitome of that to me. Kyrie Irving is a great player. I'd argue that
So wait an hour and a half to start podding.
I would argue on the basis of greatness, Kyrie Irving is on the lower end, but Kyrie Irving is great. Kyrie Irving isn't as great as Steph Curry. He isn't as great as to me like a Russell
Yeah,
Westbrook
yeah.
or a Damian Lillard.
Louder. Loud it.
And
John Wall bobblehead.
and
Yeah,
I
that
think
super argument. You know
and
what
I
I'm talking
think that's where, to me, like that's where we have to have like
Yeah.
nuance to the conversation, because I think Kyrie Irving has a better career than John Wall. I think his NBA career is better than John Wall for sure. More All NBAs. He has the finals appearance. He has the moments in which, bro, John. I can make the case that Kyrie Irving was the second best player in the NBA Finals series. Like John Wall just never. For whatever circumstances, that was never John Wall's um, portion in
Career.
life, whatever it is. But the idea that like talent wise, that like one is like exceptionally, I think that's a weird thing, because that's not how, like that's just not how it worked when their careers were out. Like Kyrie Irving was a scoring point guard. John Wall was a pass first, get people involved point guard. So to just do like a raw comparison, I don't think is fair. But if we're going to be honest, I would argue one of their careers was better than the other, and I think in the NBA, people aren't honest about that. People do a thing where like when you like the way a person plays, that kind of supersedes the reality of what took place on the court. Paul George is another example. Paul George is a really good player. I don't think Paul George is like one of these greatest players of a gen. Like Paul George still said he's 6'8". He could shoot. He could dribble. He could do that. I agree with.
If I'm creating a player, it's Paul George.
Fine. If I was creating a guard, it might be Kyrie Irving. But that's
No, I
not.
was just speaking like how you like his measurements and shit.
Yeah,
Like if you were to
exactly.
create a basketball player, you would just it's Paul George.
Oh, for sure. But this idea that Paul George is now like in like GOAT conversations is astronomically wild to me, because nothing he's done has shown that he's like that. All it shows is that he has the quote unquote, he has the body for it. Like he might be if I hate this, if they put everything together. If everybody put everything together in any part of life, they'd be better. But some people don't. Some people do. That's the fundamental difference between like Kobe Bryant and another player like Tracy McGrady. The difference between Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady isn't that Kobe Bryant is, exponentially better than Kobe Bryant put it all together. That's the truth. Like whatever that is, Kobe did it. T Mac did it. Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant. I don't think there's a tremendous skill gap between these guys, but there's an actual gap in like what they did on the basketball court. Like there's no denying that. Correct? Or am I bugging on this?
You're not bugging, but you also got to think about like Toronto had nothing for Shaq. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like actually beating him in the championship and getting over the hump, it's kind of hard to do that with the team that he had. Like you were saying, like you know what I'm
No.
saying? Like they didn't have the matchup conducive for winning in that basketball game. Did so it's just like,
And I
but
agree. And I agree with you. Not everybody's story is the same. So you, to your
yeah.
point, like it's not. It probably isn't fair to do a, oh, you
But if
didn't
we
win as
just
you didn't
but
win
if
as
we just
much.
talking about talent for talent, like
Exactly.
that gap is not that far. And honestly, if we want to keep it a being, you might say Vince is more talented
And
than
to me,
Kobe.
that's my thing about the NBA. Most of the talent gap, there's not a big talent gap between these guys. So what we're talking about is what has actually occurred. What the like for me, Kevin Durant versus Steph Curry is not that hard of an argument.
Uh,
It's Steph Curry, right?
to me,
You see, but I'm looking at the guy who and
I didn't know where you were going with that. As I said, I can roll back there and pull out a Steph Curry jersey. I can't pull out a Kevin Durant jersey.
okay, well, see,
I
we
didn't
are
know where
all
you were
in
going with
agreement.
that.
See, we're all in agreement here, but I don't know if that is the actual. I don't know if that's the consensus thought that it is. For me, I think there's put it like this: all of this is subjective. There can be a debate for all of this, but I think there are certain things that are a lot harder to debate. Like it's very hard to debate many people over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. To me, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
yeah,
at worst is like the third or fourth best player to ever play in the NBA. That's just like you, all
Shit,
of it.
I
Take,
I would say basketball.
but I'm just gonna keep it just
Like
to make it
basketball.
simple. But like, who has more? There's not many people who have more MVPs, more championships. All once again, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar led the
He
league
had the most points for like
for
40
thank
years,
you
bro.
for 40 years. He was the leader in points ever scored in this league. But if somebody is like, oh, this person is better than Kareem, this person is better than Kareem, I'd be like, all right, that's subjective. But when you get to like, I don't know, Tim Duncan is like, all right, no. Like there's no amount of, and once again, it's not shade of Tim Duncan, but there's no amount of subjectivity that could put Tim Duncan over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that's kind of how I feel about some of these basketball arguments. There's no legitimate argument, in my opinion, that has LeBron James not as a top five basketball player of all time. Like even five seems low. To be honest, it's probably three. It's probably LeBron, Michael Jordan, and Kareem in some sort of order. However you do that, it's whatever. But I don't think, if we're being honest, you could make and be like, there are three people better than those three guys at basketball in the history of the NBA. I just do not think you could do it if you're being honest. Now, if we just want to do subjective, different, criteria, then of course we could do whatever. But if the NBA started in what 1960 whatever, 1960 something, and
69, I believe, is when the
and
merger
it's
was.
still and it's going on, well, 75 years, right? So whatever 75 years from here is, if it's still going to this day to 2026, there's no way you could tell me there are three people objectively better than those three. That's just my opinion.
I mean, yeah, I believe there's people more skilled than LeBron for sure, but I cannot say that they're actually better at an NBA basketball game than him. As much as Carmelo Anthony is my favorite player, I cannot say that, you know what I'm saying? So you got me there, champ. Like you addressed your argument very well. I think Steph is almost better than LeBron, but that's a different subject.
Once again, like I don't think you listen. I wouldn't agree, but like if you wanted to make the argument, I'd be like, tell me more. But there's no way, in my opinion, you
Because
could say that Steph Curry has had a better career than LeBron James.
I
You could
would
say
never say that out my mouth.
their careers
But if they somehow
get a
ac-
fifth.
if they you know what I'm saying, like
Listen,
if that light skinned boy out there get another one,
that's the thing. That's the thing to me
we got
about
something to talk about.
That's the thing to me about sports. It's a totality of all things.
Yeah,
It's individual, it's team, it's accolades, it's this and so. Like if Steph Curry has five rings, five NBA championships, two Finals MVPs, a unanimous MVP, regular season MVP, another MVP, a few scoring titles,
isn't he the
this,
first to do it? A unanimous MVP.
yeah, a this, a that, da, da, da. Like that's what makes the totality of a career. And then we
Yeah,
would have a conversation. But that's a lot of what ifs. I think right now, like I said, it's Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, the top three best basketball careers ever. And then everybody else is kind of fighting for, Magic and Larry. They're fighting for, who gets to finish in the top five. Tim Duncan is up there. Wilt is up there.
Kobe up
Russell,
there.
Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, like is a but Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, all
For
these
sure.
guys, basically 4 through 12, they're all fighting for like
Shit.
on what's the
I don't,
criteria to
I
get
don't
them.
know about y'all, but Kawhi up there for me too, low key.
I think if you did like not a total, but like peaks, we got an argument.
My man got two Finals MVPs, three championships. Like real life pulled up for one of these in motherfucking Toronto and said, "Hey, y'all taxes too high. I'm going to Cali." So it's just like Slim. Like, his resume a little OC. He just don't play enough. And then like, bro, we witnessing what he doing with what they got in the Clippers right now, bro. Like I thought he would have low key chalked it. Niggas talking about voiding my contract. Like, I don't want to do this. I'm not really trying to talk to the media. Like, he's talking. So it's just like, yeah, bro, that's another topic. But, bro, like, Kawhi is a he's hooping right now, bro. Like, shout out to him. Good, but yeah, I like the way we ended this episode. That was good shit, Charles. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. Good job. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I did not read none of the rundown.
You guys are hilarious. All right. Shout out to the chat. It's always a good time to see you guys. Love y'all. See y'all later. We out.
Peace.
Peace,
Free
my beautiful.
Palestine.
Peace, my beautiful black people. Why you do that?
Cats
Yes.
going
Oh
crazy.
shit! I was supposed to.
We're still live.